right, how y'all doing? This is Alvin on Trying Success here at the Old Fashioned Health Network. That should be Alvin Trying Success on the Old Fashioned Health Network because you're gonna start having your podcast here, y'all. I've been trying to get this lady. This is Hazel. Hazel, welcome to my show. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
So listen, a little bit about Hazel. Hazel has been with us, Old Fashioned Health radio show, and I've been trying to get her to come to the studio to do a podcast. She come here like, oh my God, this is so gorgeous. I've been trying to get you to come here forever.
I
Now all of
know.
a sudden it's so gorgeous. Well, welcome home. Because Hazel's been a part of the network for 2 years now.
3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Time go by fast. Hazel has an amazing radio show now that she's transitioning to what she doesn't know is she's doing podcasts as well with us. But we have a new radio home coming up soon, so I cannot tell you that till that's all of the ink is dried on what that's going to be. So Hazel's coming back to we're switching radio stations, but that's coming up soon. I'll let you know about that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Hazel, welcome to the show. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship as a Black woman in business, working for yourself and what that's like, and all of the do's, the don'ts, and things to remember. You know, and I just want to make you understand. I want people to understand that men have the same problem. A lot of times when it comes to being an entrepreneur,
Of course.
and dealing with friends, family, personal relationships, and everyday things, we have our same struggles. So I think the only reason why we name it as men or identify as men as women is because we just talking about two genders doing the same thing.
That,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So that's the only reason why we identify like there's not one over the other.
Right.
You know, but I want to make that clear so they won't be like, well, me too. We're not talking about that.
So the men won't get on here. Well, men do the same
I
thing.
know, or either because I would be.
We
saying
ain't
that.
talking about y'all right now.
Well, I mean, we are talking to them about them. That's what.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
Hazel,
because
tell
we
me-
need one another.
Tell me what you're doing right now. What you got going on?
Oh Lord! So you know the words booked and busy.
And you're
I'm
always
booked
busy.
and busy.
Always. I have to take the time out to give Hazel's father a shout out. I always like to honor people that have made a significant change for our community as Black men and women. Hazel's father was part of that movement back in the day. So you could just tell them a little bit about who your father was so they can identify, because you'd be surprised who he was and what he did. So tell them a little bit about what your father
Well, my fabulous dad, Clarence Henderson, was part of the Woolworth sit-ins back in 1960. That courageous students from North Carolina A&T State University changed the world, decided that they would form a protest, that they would sit at the Woolworth counter and refuse to get up until they were served. And so that whole movement, just by 4 men starting that movement, and then my dad on the second day choosing to be a part, asked to be a part, and without in hesitation said, yes, I'm going to be a part of this movement. It changed the world.
See, I always like to get Hazel's father's amazing. I've had the opportunity to talk to him, and what we got going on with the what's going on now as far as the racial thing, in my opinion, hasn't changed very much. It has changed, but still, there's a lot of work to do. But I just want to send Hazel's father a shout out, and for those of you all that are listening to this, Millenniums and Gen X and all that stuff, Woolworth was a department store. I think they had a restaurant in there.
Yes.
So it was a department store, kind of like Target. Got the little Starbucks restaurant thing,
Right.
and then the retail. So that's what Woolworth used to be back in the day. Just for FYI for y'all to know. All right, women in business. Let's just start with the obvious thing that I'm sure a lot of people want to know. What is it like what do you suggest, or what are you hearing about women being in business and then having a relationship, having their own relationship, their own personal relationship with their significant other? Let's just talk about that part, and then we get down to the other family. How do y'all balance? What's the balance for that?
So me, I am not married. However, I do have relationships and significant others at the time during this process of my life of being a business owner. And, I will start saying that, during COVID, it changed my life and my perspective.
Okay.
It actually was the best year in business that I had. It was the best financial circumstances that I've been in my life. And what I had to examine that.
Right.
And what I came to terms with was the word distractions. And through that, there wasn't a lot of distractions at that time, right? Nobody was coming to see you. You weren't inviting nobody over, and you weren't dating and things like that. And during that time, Alvin, I was able to hear the word of God.
Okay.
Because I wasn't distracted.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Literally going down the steps, he would tell me, okay, I need you to call this person. Okay, I need you to do this. In the shower, talking. And I'm like, God, you've been talking to me like this for this long and I ain't been hearing you.
Right.
That was scary to me because I was wondering, what had I missed? You know, and during that time, I was able to concentrate and hear him and follow him. So through that, I learned that moving forward, when you are in business, man or woman, if you choose and when you choose to be with someone, they should be someone who keeps that space and that environment clear for you to hear.
Okay.
And they should want it more than you want it. Because when they do, they're going to make sure, they're going to be like ninja. Oh, you distracted? Whatever that is, we blocking it, right?
Okay.
And that's what I give, that's what I give to women is that, and men again, that when choosing a partner, number one, make sure that they are in line with your why.
Okay.
Also, make sure that they understand what needs to happen in your environment so that you can continue to prosper, so that you can continue to go after your dreams. That is an indication that person, one indication that person needs to be in your space. I talk on my show about proximity is power. Right? Those that you allow in your space can be the death of you or the life of you. And I'm on that right now, and I haven't always been there. But that period of time in COVID allowed me to understand and accept that when you're in this space of business, there is there is a specific way you have to move. And that is even when you get attached to someone, because that attachment, even if it's 10 minutes, getting to know somebody could be 10 minutes of your life. And 10 minutes of the distraction that you didn't need in order to catapult what you're trying to do. So that would be what I would give to someone who is single like myself or in a marriage. You know, that making sure that your spouse is in line with your why and that they are blocking, you know, those things that are going to keep you from being the best that you can be.
So let me ask you this then. I hear how. So let me. This is what this is in addition to. So I've always said I'm single myself, but I always like to. And when I say single, I'm talking about that. This does include if you have friends or in a relationship. I've always thought that if you're not in line with my why, at least support it.
Yes.
You don't have to be, the vision is mine. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to be in line with my why, but just support it.
Right.
And if nothing else, just don't block it.
And I guess my perspective is if you are supporting it, that's an align for me. Right? That's an alignment for me.
So it's not a long list of requirements. Just support it. Got it.
That's being in a line. Because again, anything outside of your why, that means anything that, you know, your purpose, the things that you're sacrificing for, if that person is in line with that, again, they ninja, they're going to be blocking anything, and they're not going to be the cause of distraction either. They're going to be working on creating a place of peace, right? Whatever that is for you, again, in order for you to continue on, to hear what you need to hear, to do what you need to do, and to move the way you need to move.
Right. So now let me ask you this part of it. How do you see, or how do you encourage a person, especially females? And I say especially because you come from a female point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Being in business and you hear women or hear people all the time, it's like, I don't know what my why is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know. And so they just doing something without knowing what they're supposed to do. What do you tell them when they say, well,
What
hey,
is my why?
Yeah, what is my why? Because you can't really tell a person what their why is.
Oh, I can.
Really? Okay, what do you tell them?
Yes.
Okay.
Your why is that thing that keeps you up at night.
Okay.
Your why is that thing that even when you're doing 10 different things over here,
Mhm.
that thing is still right there at the forefront. Your why is that thing that you will work every day for and don't have to get paid. Your why is that thing that drives that passion that no matter when you walk in the room, people see it all over you. People feel that energy all over you. That is your why. And you embrace that.
She done said the word, y'all. So that why is, so the why is if you want to be even if it's just being an entrepreneur with a lot of different subtitles on it.
See, I think that we need to define, we use a lot of terms very loosely.
Okay.
Like, you hear that term boss.
Mhm.
I don't like that term because anybody can be a boss. Just go into Secretary of State, open up an LLC, and now you're a boss, right?
Right.
I like to use the term, I'm a woman of influence.
Oh.
Because as a woman of influence, that means that I have people following me.
Mhm.
That means I have people doing what I ask them to do. That means that I'm making money.
Okay. Right.
And you're changing, you're influencing for the better, right?
Right.
And so I feel like, when we are looking at these terms and we're looking at where we need to be or what we need to be called, it's about what's happening behind that name or that word or that coin term that you're using.
Okay, so on the description, I also put on there, what are some of the do not things you don't do? And I want to ask you specifically about when you have people that work for you as being a boss and people you have to one of my friends like to say politic with to make something happen. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Big God Knowledge. He knows what I'm talking about when he said what are the things that you don't do? Just two things you say you don't do if you are a boss with employees. What are the two things you say you just don't do?
That's a loaded question. Just two?
Just two. You can't get with two. We ain't got what are your two main that just really
Well, I think the first is to not sit under, even though you're at this level of influence and you are quote unquote the boss, mm-hmm. be open to understanding that you don't know everything.
Right.
And that you've hired these people because they are experts, right? They are to help your vision. So don't be closed-minded and don't think and come in to say, hey, I know this, do what I say. I don't care what you have to say, right?
And you're talking about if you have hired an expert though, right?
Well, for staff, when I hire people to do different things, mm-hmm. they're an expert within those things that I've hired them for. That's why I hired them.
Did y'all hear that? Get you somebody that qualified for the job.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's your number two? I might give you one more.
Okay. I think for me, and I know some people debate about this, but I feel like don't go in and not have a protocol and a process.
Right.
You have to, because again, you are the leader.
Right.
So people in business and anything, they operate in processes and procedures.
Right.
You ever gone into a place and you don't have anything written down, nobody knows what they're doing, so they start making up stuff, right?
Yes.
Because there's nothing to follow.
Right.
So I would say that don't go in unprepared.
Mm.
Make sure when you have a meeting, even if it's a regular staff meeting, have an agenda.
Right.
Have something that people can follow that knows what's going next, what's going after. And if you could let me have three.
I'm gonna give you three, but I want to elaborate on that. When I
Okay.
tell you, you are telling like the gospel to those that like the church. That I've been a victim of that. You know, you got so much that you're trying to do, and certain things slip through the crack because you knew what you're trying to do, and if
Yeah.
you don't have that thing down pat, I promise you, it'll come back to bite you at some
Yeah.
point, some way. Yeah, that agenda, the agenda, hiring the right people are two
Yes.
things that are like at the top of anybody's list when you have a business.
Remember, you are the key.
Yeah.
People are always going to watch you. Why? Because this is your vision. This is your business.
Right.
So if you are not prepared,
Mhm.
people are watching that.
Right. And
people sense.
and they will take advantage.
And they will take advantage.
They will take advantage. Okay, what's your third?
Be a planner.
Mm.
Make sure that you are a step ahead. Always a step ahead. Because again, people are following you. People are behind you.
Mm-hmm.
They should never be caught up with you. There should always be and the next, right?
Right.
So you have to be a planner. You have to be a visionary.
Right.
That's one of the characteristics of a leader.
I want you to. I'm hoping he's listening to this. You hadn't met the whole Old Fashioned Network crew,
Okay.
But there's a podcast. Big God Knowledge is his name. Well, his name is Ryan, but Big God Knowledge is his podcast. And what you're saying now, I've heard this from him, and not in a way of necessarily just saying that you ain't do it right or stuff like that, but it just lets you know, like Ryan would go like, okay, because this may not be in place because you couldn't have it in place at the time.
Right.
This is what you need to learn from for the future, so you won't have to.
That's right.
You won't have to worry about people taking advantage of where they see the cracks and things like
That's
that. Because
right.
they sure will do it.
That's right.
I tell you, I've learned that was really good. Okay. So now let's go to this next. That was your third thing. Now tell me about women being in business and sitting at the table and you're the only female there and there's a whole bunch of guys and you're trying to close the deal. How you do that? Do you wear red and some lipstick? How you gonna do that? Y'all wear different colors. How do you do that?
You know, I am my daddy's child, and you know he raised me that I am the room.
All right now.
I'm the room. Wherever room I step in, I am the room.
Okay.
And again, energy. I cannot say this enough. Energy is transferable.
Yes, it is.
So when you come in a place, you come in confident, you come in and be prepared and know that it doesn't matter who's in the room. I'm the room. And whatever I am manifesting at that moment, it's going to be because why? I was prepared.
Okay.
And this outer shell, you're not even going to pay attention to because that energy and that preparedness and just the fact that my confidence is what you're going to see and what you're going to feel.
Right. Okay. So, Hazel, you ready today, aren't you? She was ready. She told me I'm ready.
It's been 35 years in this game. So
okay. So now for the females and males that are in business, and it may look like it's just the darkest, with the exception of saying prayer to be included in that. When it's the darkest, and she's like, I'm trying to make this work. It seemed like I keep running against the wall. And she's like, hey, I'm ready. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this.
Yeah.
So what do you tell that woman, that sister that's been out there doing this? She's been trying to get her business off the ground. And it's taking her a little time to get there. Do you tell her to shift directions? Or you tell her to keep going? And what did you do? Did you ever face that?
Oh, gosh. I would first be transparent with her. Because my journey, people need to know that this thing, I always say, business ain't for punks.
Oh, yes.
And my journey, I have been where I've had no lights. I have been where I have been working so hard that I fell asleep on 75, driving. Almost had a wreck. I have been where, like, I didn't know where my next mortgage check was going to come from. I was facing foreclosure, I would be transparent that this is a journey and you're not alone, right?
Oh,
But again, this is why it's so important to know your why. Because anything that deviates from that, even tiredness, even giving up,
right.
that ain't your why then, right?
No.
If your why is to be successful in business and you quit,
right.
That's not in line with your why.
No,
because you ain't gonna never get there, right?
Right.
So I would take her back to what her why is, and I would remind her of that, because that's what I've had to do, even now, over and over and over again, and that's what keeps me grounded. That's what keeps me when, those days that I've gotten all those no's. I know that one yes
is around the corner.
And it's gonna null and void all those no's that I got.
You know what's amazing about getting into a dark place and then coming into the light? Once you get into the light, you look back, you be like, it didn't seem like it was that long. But going through it, it's like being on a merry-go-round, like you never want to get off.
Because it's the process.
It's part of the process.
And we don't enjoy the process. There's so much to learn in the process.
But you know what? Hell, you can't learn the process if you're cold and the lights is out. So I think
yes, you can, because guess what? You'll learn. I need endurance. I will learn that.
But you learn after this. To me, I think I learned. I've been so when I learned that after I've kept myself warm and woke up the next day. So I made it through that thing. And then I can look back and see how I made it over. But in the midst of it, I'm just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to keep it. I guess I'm saying that for that woman, sometimes we get so focused on the prize, the end result, when it's not about the end result. Right. It's about all those little bitty things, all those small nuances of victories that we skip over.
Right.
Because we're so focused. But all those nuances of victories and things are preparing us for that big thing. Because I'm telling you again, when you get to that big thing, you're going to want something else.
And then you're going
to want something else.
Yeah.
And in order to get that, all those little small victories were lessons that you needed to know to carry on. So you cannot null and void the process.
Right. My mom used to say, she said, baby, enjoy the infant stages of what you're trying to do.
Yes.
She said, because I remember when you all were babies, I'm trying to make sure that you don't put your hand on this and put this in your mouth and that in your mouth. Those are the things that I remember and everything. She said, and you have to enjoy all that.
Yes.
Because once it gets older and you finish with it,
yes,
you finish when you're happy about it. But you keep revisiting all those fun times you consider fun, or I remember that time you was trying to put your hand in the socket. So you're right, you have to enjoy the process. And I would also throw in there, make sure you got the right people around you. Now, this is the last. I need to see what time. I don't know how much more time we got. I don't know what, because we got to go. Okay, we have to go to a school, y'all. I have another event coming up, but we'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
So we got 5 more minutes. I just got to ask you this. I was asking, when you get the friends and things that you used to have, and you start growing, you got to make sure you have the right people around you, and the right people around you are going to be the people that's there now, even in the roughest times.
And I have to say this because this is important. Because I had to learn this, and sometimes it's still hard. Understanding that there is a stage where you have to walk alone.
Oh,
there is a separation piece of this thing that I've never seen anybody else not go through. Separation brings preparation.
Yeah. And
I had to learn this. It is a lonely place.
Right. Yes, it is.
It is a place where and still do. Because I'm and every time there's another situation that God is trying to put you in, separation comes again. And honestly, I'm in that right now. And there's some crying nights I have, because sometimes you do want that hug. Sometimes you do want somebody to say, hey, keep going. But there is a stage where nobody's going to do that because you're separated. So I don't want people to lose that,
Right.
because that's where people can fall off and get derailed too, because they are thinking about who's around them, understanding that there is preparation. There's a separation for preparation.
The part I would encourage people before we get close here is the people you start out with, and I'm not talking about start out with in your business, but the people that were around you, a part of your day-to-day routine of friends and stuff,
may not be there.
They ain't gonna be there.
Yeah.
They gon'
That's true.
Hazel,
That's true.
You will look up one day and you got a whole different
yes.
playground. And it may not be but one or two people on the playground.
Yes.
All the other people play on the playground. Like, they don't even call me no more.
Yes.
Because, but it's part of. I used to say that your success is for the people who does not always include the people you're trying to bring with you.
I don't even know half the people that support me now.
I know, right?
I mean,
I got new people that I
DMs
and get this. Ain't it amazing how it be a total stranger that come into your life that seems to take you across that finish line.
Man.
Okay, so y'all, we're gonna have to cut this off short. I hate to cut this off short, but I gotta go.
But I'm just telling you, that's it. I want people, that's key. Mm-hmm. We gotta emphasize that.
Yeah.
That, don't concern yourself with those that you think should be supporting you.
Yeah.
Worry about and deal with those that God is bringing into your fold, because those are the ones that were destined for that particular venture, that particular project, whatever it is. Don't get caught up in that, because that's also another derailing situation from your goal.
Y'all, on that note, we got to cut it short here because me and Hazel can go all day. Thank you all so much for watching Trying Success here on the Old Fashioned Health Network. Hazel, what is your social media tag so people can be able to keep up with you?
You can reach me on Holistic Living with Hazel. That can be on Facebook as well as IG. And
you can also find her on Old Fashioned Health Network, and you can find it at hazelspodcast.com.
Yes, I forgot that.
Yeah, so,
Podcast.com, guys. It's coming. Yeah. I'm so excited for 2024. You just wait.
I can't wait that long. I'm excited about it right now. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.